There comes a moment in every journey when exhaustion sets in. When you feel like you've given everything and there's nothing left. You've pushed, you've struggled, and yet the mountain ahead still looks endless. And in that moment, a voice creeps in. Maybe I should just quit. But listen to me. That's not your real voice. That's fatigue talking. That's frustration whispering lies. You don't need to quit. You need to rest. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is simple. Winners don't quit. They recharge. Fatigue is not failure. Feeling tired doesn't mean you're not capable. It means you've been pushing hard. It means you've been giving your best, stretching beyond your limits, stepping into the discomfort that growth demands. But in that moment, when exhaustion weighs on you like a heavy storm, the mind starts playing tricks. It whispers doubts. It tells you that maybe you're not cut out for this, that maybe this road is too long, too painful, too impossible. But let me tell you something. Fatigue is not the enemy. Fatigue is proof that you're in the game, proof that you're moving, proof that you're doing something that matters. The only people who don't feel fatigue are the ones who aren't pushing, who aren't striving, who aren't chasing a vision greater than themselves. And that's not you. You're here because you have a mission, a purpose, a fire inside of you that refuses to be extinguished. So when the exhaustion comes, don't mistake it for weakness. Don't confuse it with failure. Failure happens when you stop. Fatigue happens when you're making progress. You have to learn the difference. You have to train your mind to recognize that tiredness is not a stop sign. It's a checkpoint, a place to pause, to breathe, to refuel, but never to give up. Because giving up means turning your back on everything you've already fought through. It means throwing away the sweat, the struggle, the sacrifices you've made to get here. And that's not who you are. You weren't built to quit. You were built to push, to endure, to rise, even when everything in you wants to stop. You were built to recognize that this exhaustion you feel right now, it's temporary. But the rewards of perseverance, they last forever. Every great achiever, every champion, every person who ever changed the world felt what you're feeling right now. They all faced moments when their bodies screamed for rest, when their mind begged them to quit. But they didn't. They found a way to keep going. They didn't stop. They adjusted. They took a breath. They rested when they needed to, but they never walked away from their purpose. And neither will you, because deep down you already know what quitting feels like. You've seen what happens when people let exhaustion win. You've seen dreams left unfinished. You've seen potential wasted. You've seen people walk away from the life they could have had because they let fatigue convince them it was failure. But not this time, not you. This time you're going to push through. You're going to recognize that fatigue is just part of the process, that it's a natural response to growth, to expansion, to stepping into a bigger version of yourself. You are strong enough to handle this. You are resilient enough to navigate this. So don't let a moment of exhaustion define your journey. Don't let a single day of struggle erase the months, the years, the lifetime of effort you've already put in. You didn't come this far just to stop here. You didn't fight through every obstacle just to quit because you're tired. Rest if you must, pause if you need to, but the mission stays the same. And when you're ready, you rise again. Quitting kills potential. When you quit, you shut the door on your future success. You cut off the possibilities, the opportunities, the breakthroughs that were just around the corner. You take everything you've worked for and throw it away. Not because you weren't capable, but because you let the struggle convince you it wasn't worth it. But what if you held on just a little longer? What if instead of quitting, you gave yourself the chance to rest, to recover, to reset? Because the truth is, success isn't about never getting tired. It's about knowing when to pause and when to push forward. It's about recognizing that exhaustion is temporary, but quitting is permanent. Every time you quit, you teach your mind that giving up is an option. You create a pattern, a habit, a mindset that says, when it gets hard, I stop. And that habit will rob you of everything you were meant to achieve. Because here's what you need to understand. There is no greatness without struggle. There is no achievement without obstacles, no success without sacrifice. Every champion, every leader, every person who has built something extraordinary has felt what you're feeling right now. They've been tired. They've been frustrated. They've doubted themselves, but they refuse to quit. They refuse to let temporary exhaustion steal a lifetime of rewards. They knew that fatigue wasn't a reason to give up. It was a sign to recharge. Because when you rest, you give your body, your mind, your spirit the chance to rebuild. You gain clarity. You regain strength. You remind yourself why you started in the first place. And when you come back, you don't just return, you return stronger. You return with more focus, more energy, more determination. You return with the fire that says, I will not be stopped. That's the difference between people who succeed and people who don't. It's not that they never struggle. It's not that they never feel like quitting. It's that they understand that quitting is not an option. They choose to rest instead of surrender. They choose to breathe instead of break, because they know that every time they keep going, they separate themselves from the rest, from the people who gave up too soon, from the people who let fatigue define their future, but not you. You are not someone who quits. You are not someone who throws away your dreams because the road got tough. You are the one who keeps going, the one who takes the break when needed, but never walks away from the vision, because your future is counting on you. Your success is waiting for you. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. And when you choose to rest instead of quit, you prove to yourself, to the world, that you are unstoppable. So when the exhaustion sets in, when the doubts creep in, when your mind tells you to quit, pause, take a breath, rest, but never, ever stop. Successful people don't avoid exhaustion, they manage it. The greatest achievers know when to take a step back and recharge. They understand that success is not about running at full speed until you collapse. It's about knowing when to push and when to pause. Because no one, no matter how strong, how talented, how determined, can keep going forever without rest. Exhaustion is not a sign of weakness. It's a signal, a message from your body, your mind, your spirit, telling you that it's time to reset. But too many people ignore that message. They believe that if they stop even for a moment, they'll lose momentum. That if they rest, they'll fall behind. But the truth is, if you never rest, you will burn out. You will drain yourself to the point where quitting feels like the only option. And that's how dreams die. Not because people aren't capable, but because they never learned to recover. The most successful people don't just work hard, they work smart. They know that pushing nonstop isn't sustainable. So they create rhythms. They train themselves to recognize when they need to step back before exhaustion turns into defeat. They don't quit. They recharge. They step away to gain perspective. They pause to regain strength. And when they return, they're sharper, stronger, more focused than ever. That's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. Not talent, not luck, but the ability to manage energy. To understand that success is a marathon, not a sprint, because the road to greatness is long. It will test you. It will push you to your limits. It will demand everything you have. And if you don't learn to rest, you'll have nothing left to give. That's why the best in the world don't wait until they're completely drained to step back. They don't wait until they're exhausted beyond repair. They plan their recovery the same way they plan their work. They schedule time to refuel their mind, to reconnect with their purpose, to reignite their fire. They don't see rest as a distraction. They see it as a strategy, because they know the mind works better when it's fresh. The body performs better when it's strong. Decisions are clearer when you're not running on empty. And resilience is built not just by pushing through, but by knowing when to pause. This is where most people get it wrong. They think success comes from grinding 24/7. I think the only way forward is to keep moving at all costs. But exhaustion doesn't lead to success. It leads to mistakes. It leads to burnout. It leads to frustration, doubt, and ultimately giving up. But when you learn to manage your energy, everything changes. You don't just survive the journey, you thrive in it. You become unstoppable, not because you never get tired, but because you know how to recover. And every time you return from rest, you come back stronger, faster, more determined, more powerful than before. That's how you win. That's how you build something that lasts. That's how you reach the next level. Not by running yourself into the ground, but by understanding that energy is your most valuable asset. Protect it, manage it, use it wisely, because success isn't about never getting exhausted. It's about knowing exactly what to do when you are. Burnout is a warning sign, not a stop sign. When your mind and body feel overwhelmed, it's a signal to pause, not to give up. Too many people mistake exhaustion for failure. They hit a wall, feel drained, and assume it means they're not strong enough, not capable enough, not meant for this journey. But that's not the truth. The truth is, burnout doesn't mean you're done. It means you've been pushing hard. It means you've been giving your all. And it means it's time to step back, not to quit, but to reset. Think about a high-performance car. it can go fast. It can reach incredible speeds. But even the best engine needs fuel. Even the most powerful machine needs maintenance. If you run it nonstop, if you never give it a break, what happens? It overheats, it breaks down. And that's exactly what happens to you when you ignore the signs of burnout. You start feeling drained, your focus starts slipping, your motivation starts fading. And if you keep pushing past that point, you don't just slow down, you crash. Not because you weren't capable, not because you weren't strong enough, but because you ignored the signs telling you to rest. Burnout isn't telling you to quit, it's telling you to recharge, to take a breath, to give your mind and body the space they need to recover. Because when you come back, you won't just be ready. You'll be stronger, you'll be sharper, you'll be more focused than ever. But too many people never make it to that point. They hit exhaustion and assume it means they weren't meant for success, that they're not built for this, that it's time to walk away. And that's the biggest lie burnout tells you. Because the ones who succeed, the ones who break through, the ones who build something extraordinary, they don't quit when they're tired. They recognize the signs. They understand that burnout is not a weakness. It's a signal, a message that says, you're pushing hard, but you need to refuel. They don't let exhaustion control them. They take control of it. They pause, they reset, and then they get back to work with more clarity, more energy, more power, because success isn't about running until you collapse. It's about knowing when to step back so you can come back stronger. It's about playing the long game. Because what's the point of sprinting so fast that you can't finish the race? What's the point of pushing so hard that you have nothing left to give? You weren't built to burn out. You were built to rise, to endure, to push through the struggle, but only when you're ready. So when you feel the exhaustion creeping in, don't ignore it. Listen to it. Not as a reason to stop, but as a reason to recharge. Because the mission hasn't changed. Your dreams haven't disappeared. You still have work to do, but first you rest, you breathe, you regain your fire, and then when the time is right, you step back in stronger, wiser, more unstoppable than ever. Growth happens in the struggle. The moments when you feel like giving up are the moments that shape your character and resilience. It's easy to keep going when everything is smooth, when the road is clear, when success feels effortless. But that's not where strength is built. That's not where transformation happens. Real growth happens in the fire, in the moments when doubt creeps in the moments when everything feels like it's working against you, in the moments when your body is tired, your mind is screaming at you to quit, and you start questioning whether it's all worth it. That's where champions are made. That's where leaders are forged. That's where the strongest version of you is waiting to be born. Because struggle isn't there to break you, it's there to build you. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to rise, an opportunity to push past your limits, an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are stronger than you ever imagined. Because you don't find out what you're made of when things are easy. You find out in the fight. You find out when everything in you wants to stop, but something deeper inside refuses to quit. You find out when you dig into reserves of strength you never even knew you had. That's when you become unstoppable. That's when you separate yourself from everyone who gave up too soon. That's when you stop being someone who tries and start being someone who does. So when the struggle comes, don't run from it. Don't wish it away. Embrace it, because that struggle is your teacher. It's showing you where your limits are so you can break through them. It's forcing you to grow. It's demanding that you step up, not shrink back. And the people who make it, they don't avoid struggle. They don't complain about how hard it is. They don't waste energy wishing things were easier. They get to work. They face the challenge head on. They take the pain, the frustration, the exhaustion, and they use it. They turn their setbacks into fuel. They turn their struggles into strength because they understand something most people don't. The struggle is the path. There's no shortcut, no easy way, no magic formula. Just you, your grit, your determination, and your ability to keep moving forward when everything inside of you wants to stop. That's what makes the difference. That's what creates success. That's what transforms dreams into reality. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember, this moment is shaping you. This moment is strengthening you. This moment is molding you into the person who can handle the success you're chasing. Because the prize doesn't go to the one who had it easy. It goes to the one who refused to quit. The one who saw struggle as a gift, not a curse. The one who kept pushing even when they had every reason to stop. That's who you are. That's why you're here. So don't break, don't back down. Stand tall in the face of the struggle, because this is where your future is built. Resting is a strategy. not a weakness. Taking a break allows you to gain clarity, refocus, and come back with renewed energy. But too many people see rest as something to be ashamed of. They think if they stop, even for a moment, they're falling behind. That if they take a break, they're losing momentum. That if they slow down, they're showing weakness. But the truth is, rest is not the enemy. Burnout is. Exhaustion doesn't make you stronger. It makes you slower. It makes you less focused. It drains you of the very energy you need to win. Success is not about how hard you can push. It's about how smart you can operate. And the smartest people, the highest achievers, the strongest minds, they know when to rest, because they understand that you can't perform at your best when you're running on empty. You can't make clear decisions when you're mentally drained. You can't create, innovate, or dominate if you're constantly exhausted. That's why resting is not quitting. It's reloading. It's sharpening your mind. It's recharging your body. It's giving yourself the space to come back stronger, because when you step back, even for a short time, something powerful happens. Your perspective shifts. You see solutions you couldn't see before. You regain the fire that exhaustion tried to steal from you. And when you return, you're not just ready, you're unstoppable. So don't buy into the lie that resting is a sign of weakness. Weakness is ignoring your body when it's begging for a break. Weakness is grinding yourself into the ground with no strategy, no plan, no control. But strength? Strength is knowing when to step back so you can move forward even faster. Strength is giving yourself permission to rest so you can rise to your full potential. Because the goal isn't just to work harder. The goal is to win. And you can't win if you're running on empty. So take the break, refuel, reset, then get back in the game stronger, sharper, and ready to conquer. Momentum matters. Even if you slow down, keep moving forward. Small steps are better than quitting, because progress isn't always about speed. It's about consistency. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's about pushing forward even when the progress feels small, because small steps add up. One step turns into two turns into 10, and before you know it, you've covered more ground than you ever thought possible. But the moment you stop, the moment you quit, that's when the dream dies. Not because you weren't capable, not because you weren't strong enough, but because you let the feeling of slowing down convince you that stopping was the only option. And that's the biggest mistake you can make. Because even slow progress is still progress. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, every effort is building something. Every small action is creating momentum. And momentum is everything. It's what keeps you in the game. It's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. Because the people who succeed, they don't wait until they feel motivated. They don't stop just because it gets hard. They keep moving no matter what. They take the small steps, the steady steps, the imperfect steps, because they know that quitting guarantees failure. But pushing forward, even slowly, always leads somewhere. So don't underestimate the power of momentum. It doesn't matter if you're running, walking, or crawling. Just don't stop. Keep going. Keep pushing. Because as long as you're moving forward, you're still in the fight. And as long as you're in the fight, you still have a chance to win. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Many people quit just before they achieve their biggest success. They walk away when the pressure is at its peak. They give up when the struggle feels unbearable, not realizing that the hardest moments often come right before everything changes. Because that's how life works. It tests you. It pushes you to your limits. It asks, how bad do you really want this? And most people, they fold. They let exhaustion, frustration, and self-doubt convince them that it's not worth it, that maybe they weren't meant for this, that maybe success just isn't in the cards for them. But what they don't see, what they can't see, is how close they really are. How one more step, one more push, one more moment of resilience could be the difference between giving up and breaking through. Because success doesn't come with a countdown. You don't get a sign that says, just 3 more days, 3 more failures, 3 more struggles, and then you'll make it. No, it happens when you refuse to quit. It happens when you keep showing up, even when nothing seems to be working. It happens when you push past the breaking point, when you silence the voice in your head that says, maybe this isn't for me. Because what if your biggest success is just one more step away? What if everything you've been working for is just beyond this moment of struggle? Would you still quit? Or would you dig deeper? Would you push through, knowing that the breakthrough always comes to those who refuse to stop? Because history is filled with people who almost quit, people who were on the edge of giving up, people who thought they had nothing left until they realized they had one more fight in them. And that one more fight, that's what changed everything. So don't let doubt steal your destiny. Don't let frustration make your decisions. You are closer than you think. Hold the line. Take one more step. because your breakthrough is waiting. Winners take control of their energy. Managing your rest, recovery, and mindset is key to long-term success. Because success isn't just about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about understanding that energy is your most valuable resource, and if you don't protect it, if you don't manage it, you burn out before you ever reach your potential. Look at the top performers in any field. They don't just push nonstop. They know when to go all in, and they know when to step back. They don't waste energy on things that don't matter. They don't let stress and negativity drain them. They train their minds like they train their bodies, focusing on strength, resilience, and control. Because if your energy is scattered, your results will be weak. If your mind is exhausted, your performance will suffer. If you're always running on empty, you won't last. That's why the real winners don't just grind, they recover. They reset. They make sure their fuel tank is full before they push forward again. Because long-term success isn't about how fast you can go today. It's about how long you can sustain your momentum. It's about staying in the game while everyone else burns out. It's about learning to balance intensity with recovery, drive with patience, effort with strategy. Because a powerful mind inside a drained body is still weak. And an energetic body with no focus is wasted potential. You need both. You need to take charge of your energy, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Winners don't wait until they're exhausted to rest. They plan for it. They treat recovery as part of the process because they understand that the goal isn't just to succeed. The goal is to sustain success, to keep showing up, to keep growing, to keep dominating long after everyone else has faded. And that only happens when you take control of your energy. So protect it, manage it, use it wisely, because in the end, the ones who win aren't always the ones who work the hardest. They're the ones who knew how to last. Your future self will thank you. The discipline to rest instead of quitting will lead you to a life of fulfillment and success, because success isn't just about pushing forward. It's about knowing when to pause, when to recharge, and when to come back stronger. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they burn out. They push themselves until they have nothing left. And when exhaustion takes over, they mistake it for a sign to quit. But quitting is final, resting is temporary. And the difference between those who succeed and those who give up is understanding that rest is part of the process. Think about the strongest version of yourself, the version that made it, the version that achieved everything you're working toward. That version of you didn't quit. That version of you knew when to push and when to recover. That version of you had the discipline to step back, not because they were weak, but because they were smart. Because they understood that you can't perform at your best if you're constantly running on empty. And when you take care of yourself, when you manage your energy, when you allow yourself to rest without guilt, something powerful happens. You don't just regain your strength, you regain your focus. You don't just recover, you come back sharper, more determined, more unstoppable. And that's the key to lasting success, the key to building a life of fulfillment, not just a series of short-term wins followed by exhaustion. Because the goal isn't to burn bright for a moment and then fade. The goal is to keep going, to keep growing, to build something that lasts. And that only happens when you have the discipline to rest when you need to, so you can rise when it matters most. So when you feel tired, when you feel drained, when the weight of it all feels too much, remember this: your future self is counting on you. Not to quit, not to break, but to rest, recover, and come back stronger. Because the life you want is still waiting. And when you get there, you'll be grateful you never gave up. So keep going, keep pushing forward, but do it with wisdom. Do it with the understanding that rest is not a setback, it's a strategy. That pausing does not mean quitting. That taking care of yourself is not weakness, it's what allows you to stay in the game long enough to win. Because the people who succeed, the people who build legacies, the people who create lives of fulfillment and greatness, they don't stop, they sustain. They master the balance between effort and recovery. They understand that true strength isn't just about how hard you can push, but how smart you can endure. So when the road feels long, when exhaustion sets in, when doubt creeps in, choose rest, not resignation. Choose recovery, not retreat. Choose to keep moving forward, even if that means stepping back for a moment to gather your strength, because your future self is waiting. And one day you'll look back at this moment, at this choice, and you'll be grateful that you didn't quit. You'll be grateful that you gave yourself permission to recharge. You'll be grateful that you kept going, because that's what winners do. And you are a winner.